with these.
Uh-huh.
It begins with however you buy the yarn, or if you make it yourself.
Right.
And then you have to decide, once you have the yarn selected, what are you going to make? And when you have made that decision, you do about 2 sheets of mathematical calculations to ask, do I have enough yarn to do what I want to do?
Yes.
Because I was doing special colors in special particular configurations.
Right.
And if you don't know what you're going to do, you can't determine, do I have enough yarn? Like, I have plenty of blue to do a whole lot, but I don't have as much red and green. Once you do that, you determine how many you can make with what you have. And so I put on the yardage to do that for me. I think this one was like 13 yards to begin with. And then it has to be done, so I have, do I have enough blue, do I have enough red, do I have enough green? And you have to have them know where they need to go. Because you're going to put them on panels that hold for me, 1/4 of the threads. And each panel, although they look alike, actually holds a different set of threads.
I see.
You know, I'm lifting one whole set of threads, and I think I've got a leaf in there somewhere. I'll get it out later.
Right, it's quite a process.
When you have figured that out, where it needs to go, then let me get out my tool.
Yes, please.
He just had to, he lives so close, he backed his truck all the way in here today this morning.
Backed it in, huh?
A little tool.
Yes, sir, we're glad to be here. We're getting that.
Yes, uh-huh.
That little tool allows me to go into the eyes that are on the wires that hold the threads.
I see.
You have to be able to get in there. It's also narrow enough to be able to go in the slots that feeds the threads into the fabric.
Okay.
And with that, you can begin putting your threads on. I normally work from the front to the back, so that when I roll all of the threads in the back, what I do is I roll it up so that there's paper between each row of the threads.
Oh, I see.
Because threads that lay on top of other threads tend to slide between.
Yes.
Changes the tension, and then you can't weave.
Oh, okay.
So what you do is you put a spacer, and the paper is a spacer. It has to be thick enough. Like that's like butcher paper.
Uh-huh.
If you use something like typing paper, the typing paper creates little grooves. You can't do it. It's got to be thicker.
Yes.
And then once you get it rolled in the back, and you put them in here, and you put them in here, you tie them to the front, and I usually use a rod of some sort to tie to the front.
Let's see.
And that means then I can begin to weave.
Yes.
When I begin to weave, what I do is I use the loom in the order that I want to do it. I know my next row is this, and I'm lifting up at this point 3 and 4.
Right.
And I want to start a new color because that's where I am. And I'm gonna go partway in and bring a piece of yarn out.
I thought I would always want to ramble. I thought I would never settle.
Now I'm going to weave in the same row, but you notice that I put it there under. Now I'm going to go over it, and that will hold that one in place. I'll shift to the next one, in which case it's 1 and 4. And then this is my beater, and I will take that thread and I will beat it into the beginning, and you can see my first row of red is there.
I see that.
And you just keep coming back and forth each row, sliding your shuttle across. What? I have a loop here. Can't leave it there, it looks funny. And then I change to the next one. And beat it in.
I thought I would always want to ramble.
And that's all that weaving does, is that you're going from one side to the other.
Yes.
You've already determined what's on each panel, and I've already set it up which are going to go up on which time.
Right.
So all I have to do is keep putting my shuttle back and forth.
Look at that. I never knew.
Now if you want your shirt, you won't get it today.
You have to be a mathematician to carry out all these preparations. It's the preparation that's all the hard work.
You know, if you stop and think about the people who were educated hundreds of years